As another season comes to a close in European football, there have been some surprise performances across the continent. Let's take a look at some of the teams who've had a much better season than expected. Hello and welcome to Football Now, here from the Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar. A big reason of why we love football are the fairy tale stories that develop from unexpected places. And across Europe this season, we've seen several examples of teams outperforming expectations and achieving things we didn't think they'd be capable of back in August. Starting in England, where after 2 seasons of battling relegation, Nottingham Forest have enjoyed their best domestic season since the turn of the century. They're now on the cusp of qualifying for European competition next season and also made the FA Cup semi-finals for the first time since 1989.
I think just the feeling around the city has just been an absolute pleasure to be around. It's really good times to be a Forest fan at the moment. Beating Liverpool away was massive. I know it was early in the season, but I think to go to Anfield and beat them for the first time, I think it was in 55 years. Even the great Brian Clough couldn't do that. I think growing up, you've listened to so many stories about people going to the European Cup finals, going to Wembley a lot under Clough, and it being like a regular occurrence. This is very much uncharted territory for a lot of supporters, including myself. It's going to mean so much because it's my football club and we've been there before and we was this like plucky underdogs. It'll bring in business, if it brings in a lot of money, as we all know. It'll bring in better footballers then we can then try and compete to get back into it.
It's fair to say that the upward trajectory of Forest probably began last season when they hired Portuguese coach Nuno Espírito Santo to replace Steve Cooper. Nuno previously enjoyed success at Wolverhampton Wanderers before going on to win a Saudi Pro League title with Al Ittihad. But he probably felt like he had a point to prove in English football after a failed stint at Tottenham in 2021. He's now the favourite to win this year's Premier League Manager of the Season award.
I love Nuno. I think he's great. He's honest. I think he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's passionate. I think his backroom staff, they're a good team just like the players are. And it's been really good to see this season of like him just show more personality personally, because I think before he had such a tough time. I think this season he's kind of really come out of his shell. He's expressed his heart to everyone in terms of off the pitch and on the pitch. And I think now he's earned his respect. I think he's earned his reputation back. I think what we're seeing is what we saw at Wolves.
Let's take a look at Germany now, where Mainz are also fighting to qualify for European competition after spending the last decade hovering around mid-table in the Bundesliga. So what has been the key difference this year that's pushing them further up the table?
Yeah, well, the improvements come from Bo Henriksen. When he arrived in February 2024, Mainz had just one Bundesliga game all season. Henriksen's success, which continued this year, was to enliven the side, to bring energy back into the team, to make them defensively much more resistant and resilient. I suppose you'd have to go back to 2015-2016 when Mainz finished 6th under Martin Schmidt. That would be kind of their most successful recent finish. But they've never played Champions League football. Considering who they're competing with, it would mean an enormous amount. Players can really easily become pigeonholed as kind of, you belong at a certain level of the game or, a certain part of the table. Whereas I think what Henriksen's done has been, in a way, quite old-fashioned because he's taken players who had kind of been written off and, yeah, you're heading for the wider Bundesliga and that's probably where some of these guys belong. And yet, the improvement individually in some of them is amazing, and I think that figurative trophy for that journey. It is European football. The Champions League is not the be-all and end-all for Mainz. Like, finishing in a Conference League position is still an amazing year and enough probably to put Henriksen in Manager of the Year.
There's also a similar story unfolding in France, where RC Strasbourg are close to making it into European competition for the first time since the turn of the millennium. Their squad has an average age of just under 22 years old, and their coach, Liam Rossigna, is in only his second full-time managerial role and his first outside of England. So, how has he found the formula to get Strasbourg on the cusp of Europe's elite competitions?
Pour ma part, ce que Liam Rossigna a réussi à faire avec cette équipe en si peu de temps, c'est vraiment impressionnant parce qu'on parle d'un club qui a terminé 13e la saison dernière et aujourd'hui, comme tu l'as dit, ils sont en train de jouer les premières places, carrément en course pour une qualification en Champions League, ce qui aurait été impensable il y a encore quelques mois. Il a su redonner confiance à un groupe très jeune mais bourré de talent. Quand on regarde des joueurs Sébastien Nanasi, Habib Diarra, Dylan Bakwa ou encore Emmanuel Emega, ce sont des profils explosifs, techniques, capables de faire la différence à tout moment. Et derrière aussi, tu as une défense qui est solide. Donc ce mélange de jeunesse et de solidité, c'est ce qui fait la force de Strasbourg cette saison. C'est offensif, structuré et ambitieux. C'est une équipe qui n'a pas peur d'aller chercher les gros et voilà, on verra bien avec le PSG. Ils leur ont déjà posé beaucoup de problèmes et c'est aussi ça en fait qui crée autant d'enthousiasme autour du club aujourd'hui.
There's an insight for you then into 3 clubs across the continent who have blown away expectations this season, no matter what happens from here. But can they maintain this form and qualify for European competition? Let us know using the hashtag #FootballNowOverachievers. That's all we've got time for though here this week. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.